Alright guys, we are back and welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are live on the test server to showcase my variation of team to take down the hardest boss in the Cursed City, in the Eclipse Tower, going by the name of Amius. Now I must say, over this past weekend I have dedicated upwards of 14 hours purely on this composition, but not just the team itself, but the synergy, understanding the mechanics of the boss and when is he using specific skills. And it was definitely something that I found pretty fun, I guess. Whenever new bosses come into the game, I always like to break down the mechanics and what is the best ways to tackle these bosses. And I strongly believe the one that I'm showcasing today is very viable if you can replicate it. Now, I will say on my account, I do not have a crazy amount of blessings, so I feel like I'm going to have a harder time than some other players out there that can reach the pinnacle. But it's just really cool to see that it can be done as well once paired around the right synergies. But okay, before we get into the boss itself, you can see here that there is going to be a guaranteed mythical champion granted that you can obtain the candles from completing the floors and reaching the milestones by completing these quests. So you can see here by clearing 25 stages, we get 5 candles. By clearing 50, we get another 5. For clearing 101, this is where most of the value is coming from. And this is going to consist of completing every single floor that you see on this roadmap. So that's going to be pretty tough, right? As there is some bosses that I think are going to be extremely hard to counter, mainly because of the limitations, which I'll break down very briefly, because I do want to keep this video mainly around Amius, right? Also, by clearing 6 awakened stages, there's going to be 10 candles, and also 15 from here, and 25 from defeating the boss. And you can see from the actual rewards themselves, that there's some really cool ones along the way, the more candles you get. Like we're seeing some Chaos Ore in there, some Chicken, some Ancient Shard, some Skill Tomes, a Sacred Shard, and a Mythical Skill Tome. So relatively good here, right? And of course, the Mythical Champion is what we're all going to be striving for. And if you can complete every single floor for 5 months, that's when you get your hand on, what's his name? Carnage, the Anuk. And he looks pretty sweet as well in game. You can see here. Let's have a quick look at his metamorph. There we go. He looks badass. But I'll be breaking them down in a future video properly. Amius The Lunar Archon. What kind of strategy have I gone for here? Well, I will say that it's limited to the Sylvan Watchers, the Barbarians, the Lizardmen, the Skinwalkers, and also the Dark Elves. So you can see that I have put my favorite champion in the game, from the Skinwalkers anyway, in Snake Track for ally protection. We've got Madam Ceres as a buff strip and also a decreased attack, which is phenomenal against this boss. I've got a blessing on Venomage, and I'm going to be using a very similar to an Enfeeble tank in the Phantom Shogun's Grove. And I don't want to overcomplicate this boss today. I tend to talk too much, but I'm going to try my best. Pythion and Valkyrie both with no blessings, guys. Only a 1-star on Madam Ceres and a 2-star on our Snick Track. So in the grand scheme of things, I was very worried that we will need 6-star champions in blessings to get this done. But I guess if you've got the core team around it, and you understand the mechanics of the boss, it can be done with lesser stars, right? Granted, these are some pretty top tier champions. So what I'm going to do here is just break down the fundamentals as I'm going, and then I'll showcase my pre-recording as well if it gets a little bit too long. So we've got some smite up here, and if you can dedicate a legendary champion with accuracy to place this, it's going to be phenomenal, guys, which you're about to see. I'm then going to place the counter attack here. He is going to get a heal because we haven't got heal reduction active at the moment. We're then going to go with some counterattacks. Boom, boom, boom. Some nice damage around the board, right? And then here, I'm just going to dedicate A1 skills because he's now going to transfer our debuffs into the positive one. So a decreased attack is going to turn into an increased attack with the rampant chaos here. As you see, block buffs into block debuffs, decreased attack into increased attack, heal reduction into weaken, and also continuous heals into strengthens. And because this form is orientated around the amount of healing that he does, it actually adds up a lot. So we're just going to save our skill once again with Venomage. And then we're going to place a block debuffs here. And then just an A1 here. And A1 once again. Just trying to do this all live. And boom. There's the increased attack. Now, the reason for the block debuffs from the Pythion is that he will place a stun debuff on all enemies except mythical champions for 1 turn and forces them to change form as well. So if we can stop him from stunning us, allows us to get into our phase where I'm now going to place a decreased attack and a decreased defense and our heal reduction so we cannot heal looking forward, right? And you can see that in 2 turns with his passive skill, he's then going to place... we'll go into his alternate form, right? Where he does the killing machine stuff. So here we go. He's just going to go over A1 skill here. And as you see, 0 damage or 0 heals taken because we got the heal reduction at the exact right time. Now, the first time that I beat this, I used a Coldheart A1 with a max HPs and it was phenomenal. But the issue is like, if you don't have a buff strip and I want to use Sneak Track for his decreased attack and also the smite, that requires accuracy, right? And if you're placing decreased attack before and he puts the increased attack up, that means the killing machine variation is going to have more attack to kill our enfeeble tank in a sense in our Venom Mage, right? So let's just do an A1. It'll all make sense once we go through this. And then here, just before he goes into his other form, I'm going to place an ally protection to protect my Venom Mage. I'm then going to do a counter attack and let's slow this down. So the Eclipse buff is going to go up for a duration of 3 turns. And how this is determining right now is the champion in your team with the least HP. Now, I thought, was it the highest crit damage at first? I then thought, is it going to be the highest attack? And it turned out that was the HP count. So what I did was, I ramped up the stats of all of my other champions to a higher HP threshold, so even when they're attacked by AoEs, they're always sitting above board in comparison to Venom Mage. And of course, we're using the shield buff to protect our Sneak Track as our ally protector, because when she's attacking the Venom Mage, you know, you can see that the shield's now gone from the Sneak Track, right? So we need that to eat up some of the damage. Now, you might be thinking, why is he not using his active skills here? Well, I've actually determined this on purpose according to the mechanics of the boss. Because as you see here, he's going to remove any block debuffs and replace them with the block buffs and increase attack into a decrease attack. Very similar to how the first form did it, but for himself. This one is now going to do it to our champions. But what I've done is I've selectively chose champions that don't have those buffs. So the boss is like, I don't want to do that. I want to use the A1, reset the cooldowns of this Maniacal Bedlam, which is a nasty skill, and he's just going to keep A1ing, proccing this, A1, proccing this, and before you know it, your whole team's going to be down before the Eclipse buff activates, or switches to the other form. Hopefully that makes sense. So what I'm doing is, because we haven't got any buffs, he's like, I don't want to do this, and we're going to keep it that way, right? We are going to keep it that way. So right here, we still got 3 turns of Eclipse. We're just going to keep this going. And we're not going to place any block debuffs, nothing like that right now. We are saving all of this. So we can just stay with an A1. Sneak Track's phenomenal. We got another smite on, not at a right time though, because we've locked him out of his active skills with determining what we're doing here. And I'd say one of the biggest tasks that I came across when figuring this out was keeping this champion alive, because I have got blessings with the, what was it called? The one that mitigates on subsequent hits. Faultless Defense, the rare one. So I put that on her. She's also mitigating damage with the 4-star blessing, which is where I feel like this champion in particular needs to have blessings, guys. Otherwise, you're gonna get nuked to the ground, as he ignores 100% of the target's defense and 20% for each debuff on the enemy, right? So if you start ignoring 100%, no kind of support is going to help you, because Sneak Track, even your ally protector, is going to die. As you see here, look how low he is with decreased attack and ally protection and shields and the damage reduction. Also, Venom Mage is a great champion because she's got heal reduction that mitigates 15% of damage incoming, so that can protect you as well. And this is like the main thing, keeping her alive, because the second that he dies, this whole run just goes to the bin, right? Which I'll show a little clip right now of what can happen. And then he would lead into this Blood Moon Vortex, or the Maniacal Bedlam, there we go. And he'll place the sleep debuff that cannot be blocked or resisted, apart from mythical champions that he'll change their form. So what will happen is, he'll kill Venom Mage, go into this one, sleep everybody, go back into the A1 again, sleep everybody, A1 again, sleep everybody, and then 3 out of 4 of your champions are all dead, right? And that's why he's focusing on that A1 to kill our targets, because he wants to get us in that chain cycle, right? And then here, what I can do is, I want to keep a decreased defense active, because we want to have 2 debuffs that the other form is going to dedicate wanting to switch out the buffs, right? Because if you haven't got multiple debuffs that you can change, he's going to prioritize going in with the AoE, right? Which we're going to see now. So I'm forcing what he's going to do in the next form as well. So here what we're going to do is, there's still some ally protection, so I'm going to add a bit of a shield on, you know, protect our Sneak Track. So there we go. And he could have died there without that shield, right? So this is very, very hard trying to stay alive here, especially when we're cycling, right? And then here, we basically just need to bank on a decreased attack going out. If it doesn't happen, then it could be bad. But we're going to place a block debuff because we're anticipating the AoE. Can we get decreased attack? Which we didn't. Okay, this could be a good actual play here. So right now, what he's going to do is he's going to go for an AoE instead. Oh, he went for the decreased defense. Okay, that's all right. Sometimes I've seen it where if it's not 2 debuffs, he's like, ooh, I'm just going to go for the A2 instead here because I'm getting more of a value. But it seems like as long as you've got one of the buffs that he wants to form out for, he's going to think, ooh, that's a heal reduction or something. Let me take that off. And then you can see it's changed into an increased defense. Now, the reason for Madam Ceres. We're now going to strip that off. So even if there was an increased attack on, we'll just take that off, right? And now we have got 3 turns of heal reduction. See here, guys? 3 turns on the passive. So we've got more of a formation here to deal some good damage. So there we go. And he's just going to be doing AoEs. We've got heal reduction. And in this form, he doesn't hit extremely hard. See that there? And we're just going to be recouping the heals of Venomage here. There we go. Getting some nice counters out. Just going to A1 again. Save some of our cooldowns. We've still got 2 turns here. There we go. We can save all of these. 1 more hits. And this next form is going to go back into the other one again. And we're just going to do the exact same cycle because we're utilizing Pyfield's A2 and his A1 to heal up our tank again. So she's ready for the next formation. Alright then, so before we get into the rest of the run that I was just demonstrating, I thought it'd be really cool to showcase a variation where everything goes smoothly. I'm talking smite at the right times, decreased attacks at the right times, our heal reductions, and not getting 3% resisted whatsoever. Because in that run I was just showing, I got 3% resisted and I thought, damn, the boss just healed and now it's going to take much longer than it needs to be, right? So I actually thought this is perfect because I can now show a prime example of if we allow our Venomage to die, how using that A1 skill is going to effectively chain us in a sleep cycle, kill multiple of our allies, put us in a bad situation, and then the base form is going to heal all the way back up to full, and there's just no way of recouping from that. So it's really cool to see a bad situation scenario and also how smoothly it can go where everything goes your way, right? Because 3% resisted is like the worst thing in the game. I hate it. And also, whilst we're here, the boss is also immune to turn meter effects. So if you're trying to control him, like the Fire Knight, you're not going to be able to do so. And also in the skill description at the moment, which will be changed, the Eclipse buff cannot be blocked. So if you're trying to place a block buff with someone like a Sun Wukong, I honestly thought that you'd be able to stop it from going up in the first place and lock him down into that base form, which just wasn't the case. But I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of this run. I'll speed it up a little bit, and then we'll resume with the run that I forcefully made bad, so you can see the sleep link. So let's get into it. So in terms of the damage, Sneak Track at 2.3 million, which is phenomenal because of that Smite debuff, right? Very effective. And the rest of them not having a crazy amount of blessings outside of Venomage, right? Which is an epic champion. So it might be a bit more achievable than, of course, getting some legendaries. And it's just really cool to see a way that is viable that I have beat upwards of 15 times before recording this video. I've created a speed tune according to what I can by my eye anyway, because I don't know the actual stats. I believe that he's sitting at around, let me just take this off, 250 speed or so. So I've got some champions above that threshold, and I believe he's at around 4 million damage because, or 4 million HP, because Coldheart is doing 210,000 max HP, and it's only 5% against this boss, right? So yeah, really interesting to know. Let's just try to get into that form one more time, because I do want to show that one more time here. Even if he heals and stuff, it's fine. Because I do want to show you how bad it can go if you allow him to kill an enemy. So let's just strip these off. He's about to go into that form, that's fine. We're not going to do any protection here. Let's just save everything. Decreased attack is fine, but she's going to die now. No shields, nothing. Because right there, I would have been putting up the ally protection, right? In this speed tune. Just before he goes live. There we go. Let's just leave her to die. Because I do want to show you why he wants to use that A1. So, she's nearly dead. Let's just do one more cycle. They have all of these skills. No shields, no ally protection. A1. A1. Alright, here it goes. Boom, boom. Kills him. Activates that maniacal bedlam. Goes into a sleep. He's now going to kill somebody else. Watch this. Boom, boom. Activates again. Goes into the other one. A1. And that's basically why. And look, now we got into that skill as well. And we're basically in a very bad situation now to get back into the fight. So having that champion very tanky with masteries and stuff, and also the blessings, is very, very powerful. Also, I will show you a variation of the Coldheart Team, which I'll play towards the end of the video. And the way that one was working was, we got an A1 heal reduction, right? Phenomenal, because we're keeping it up actively, therefore Venomage is taking less damage. But also, you have to make sure your Sneak Track doesn't have accuracy, therefore I cannot play Smite. I think this variation here was more sustainable once I optimized it. The other one was a bit RNG based because we don't have the Smite to back us up and take down a bunch of damage. Therefore, we need to survive a longer period of time, right? So I'm a big fan of this one. I love it. It works perfectly well. The speed tune cycle goes well, but the fail condition is 1, not placing your debuffs on time, 2, not stripping on time, and 3, forgetting to place a heal reduction. Like, once you've got all of those components going into it, we only have to beat it once to complete. This is a very viable team that I would feel comfortable building on my main account as well, looking forward. Okay, what other champions can we look for here? What fundamentals? I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's very rough. Like, I tried multiple options. I was thinking the Panda maybe, but, you know, wasn't sure if I wanted to add that many buffs or debuffs to the mix. Also, who else is there? I tried like 5-star blessings on like a Luria, thinking, yo, those blessings are going to ramp up. It's going to be phenomenal. But, you know, she just died as well, pretty much. Like, Venomage is a nice little tanky champion with those blessings as well. Outside of that, I did try Rorik Wormbane with the counter attack because he does have an ability to always use the scale breaker to ignore defense, and I felt like we can ramp down that damage very quickly. But because we need so many fundamentals and I don't have enough blessings to survive the onslaught with the passive, right? Because you see here is we get, where is it? Decrease the damage taken by up to 25% for these values, and then also on that A1 here, when the other form, where is it? 3 to 6 stacks up to 50%. So we've got a 30% reduction on our Venomage. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Let's just go into my other champions of what I just used. So my Venomage was going at 246 speed. That's on purpose. I want her below the threshold of the boss, so she's taking a turn after the initial phase. That's perfect. With 50,000 HP and 4.9k defense. I know it sounds crazy, but because he's ignoring a big bunch of defense, we need to mitigate as much as possible, right? Because we have got 30% leeway there with the blessings. This is the one I was talking about, the faultless defense. On subsequent hits with the multi-hit skills, which that A1 is, we're going to be reducing the damage by 10% again. So once you start ramping this up with ally protection and stuff, it's phenomenal. Heal reduction and poison is really helping us out, and a decreased defense as well, which is going to be great for pairing with that decreased attack, so we can form him into that other form, right, and use the A2 first with the cleanse ability. So then we can lead him with the Madam Ceres, who is going at 63,000 HP and 247 speed, so 1 speed above Venomage, to cut in, cleanse everything off, place a decrease attack if we need it. We could steal the bus, which could be detrimental in some formats, because then the boss is going to want to prioritize other skills. And then also an A1 just for damage. But pretty decent champion here. I did try Rian the Conjurer. She just places the block buffs on the A1, which is just something else we need to throw into the mix, right? But that decrease attack is very clutch. Very clutch. Masteries for these, just while we're here. We've gone down to War Master, and we're avoiding any of these cycler magic stuff. You know, reset champions, Kaimos, Yumikos, they're all out of the bin, right? And it's actually unfortunate they're not giving us a way to reset masteries for free, because it's like the Bommel situation over again, right? With Eagle Eye, or this one, Evil Eye, where we're reducing turn meter. Because if you reduce a skill cooldown, that could be the reason for failure, because he's then going to decrease the duration of skills to make them go actively faster, right? Masteries on a Venom Mage are very similar. We're just ignoring that, going down to the War Master, of course. On a Valkyrie, we're just trying to like add to the shield values and stuff with some lasting gifts and going down to War Master. And then the reason for her is the counterattack, the big shields to protect our Snick Track when his wears off. Very, very powerful, and it's a champion I only pulled recently, which I'm happy about. Counterattacks are great, you know, helps her heal a little bit with the leech that we're reflecting back and stuff like that. Do I think it's mandatory? Probably not. You could probably replace this with other shield champions. Maybe double Snick Track could work as well. Could be an option. I think just the value of Valkyrie Shield is just really, really cool. And going in with those counterattacks could be clutch to place a decreased attack where you need it. And also healing up our tank that we've seen with the Venom Mage, right? So pretty cool champion here. Really cool. And she's in a resilience build, just trying to add to her sustainability. We had like perception around the board here as well. Pretty cool. Pythion, we got Stone Skin, mainly just like arena stuff, going at 258. That's speed tuned as well. Pretty high sustainability here. And Mastery is going down to resistance and a bit of speed and stuff. Didn't go War Master here. And then Snick Track, we had the highest HP, of course, 81,000. High defense as well. And we really want to scale this as much as possible. I mean, there's an Inner Guardian as well. So yeah, I guess, guys, that was like all of my builds and stuff and some champions that I would be considering. Like, Raz and Skullhide can come through and strip off the A1, right? Could be a pretty decent option here. But then again, we're placing more debuffs that he's going to transfer. Emic Trunkheart with the taunt can have some value. Potentially. It just depends on how he's going to focus this. Like, where I was using that Venom Mage, can we use this to taunt him? Potentially. I don't know, it could be interesting, but I will try and make some more guides in the future. Of course, I've only had a limited time, and I do want to showcase my variation before it goes out and stuff. And then we've got champions such as Owlskull Crimson Hawk, maybe with some block damage at the right time, but there is continuous heals in there. Horpheries, Scathix potentially, Aox to remember for decreased attack. Like, there's so many different options that I'm thinking of, but I just feel like for my account, the blessings that I have, and especially on this champion, it was definitely the way to go with these options. But yeah, guys, let me know your overall thoughts on this. Like, do you feel like it's going to be very hard to encounter? Like, don't get me wrong, I just mentioned it took me 14 hours to understand the mechanics and get a speed tune going, and of course, many other CCs and you guys as the community will most definitely come up with some other you know, varieties of teams to face this boss. But right now, for being the hardest boss in the game, in a sense, for endgame, did it kind of reach my expectations? I don't know, because I feel like the boss isn't insanely hard. I think what's really hard is having the blessings on the champions to beat the content, and then also having the specific champions that form together to do all of the fundamentals in specific affinities, right? Like, of course, if we had like a Newt or something in there, or whatever that may be, could be pretty cool, but you know, only time will tell with future rotations how this is going to change. In the boss guide, I just want to see one more time. He doesn't ignore unkillable, right? Or does he? Okay, nothing here. On the A1, does he do it? Oh, wait, I'm in the wrong form. Okay, so he doesn't ignore unkillable on that one. That's interesting. So maybe if we get an unkillable on that one, and then we could force that Emic Trunkheart to be that situation, could be cool. But yeah, that's just the first impressions anyway, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm rambling on. I will leave some clips towards the end for you guys to watch in full, for anyone that likes to watch runs, and with like the Coldheart variation. Hit that like and subscribe button if you did enjoy it, and I'll catch you all in a video soon. Peace.